All right. How is everybody doing today? Welcome to yet another week of our weekly Facebook Lives. I'm super excited to be here with you today. Coach Joyce Loy is running late. She'll be joining us shortly. She's on traffic. Otherwise, for those who don't know me, my name is Jane Jagu. I'm a transformational mindset coach. I help you re-alter the stories that you tell yourself so that you can unleash your potential. So, just a recap of last week, we talked about narratives and mindset, or as other people call it, stories, and how it's related to mindset. And we came to the realization that the stories we tell ourselves, they tend to impact our mindset. So if you're telling yourself a positive, empowering story, you are impacting your mind positively. If you're telling yourself a negative story, that is how you're nurturing your mind to be thinking all the time negativity and all that. So there's so much power in the stories that we tell ourselves, and particularly the stories that we are telling ourselves, the personal stories that you tell yourself. Those are the most important stories. So as I'd mentioned last week, this week we are going to talk about I will give you a personal story of a story that I re-authored, a story that I changed the narrative, and it has had major impact over the last years. And the negative story that I was telling myself for, I think it's almost about 7, 8 years ago, was that I need to be good at something in order for me to, like if it's a promotion, I need to have all the skills needed in order for me to apply for that promotion. If it's doing anything or even pitching myself, I had the story that I need to be perfect, and I had developed the perfectionism. I had developed the mindset that I need to be perfect in order for me to go for whatever I wanted. And once I came to the realization that it was limiting me to go for things, for example, going for what I wanted, going for my passion, I thought that I needed to be perfect. I thought that I needed to have all the certifications, I needed to have all the education related to my passion in order for me to come out and say, hey, I'm a coach, or this is what I'm doing, or this is what I want to do. So the moment I stepped away from that story and I reminded myself that I don't need to be perfect, every day is a journey, every day I am learning, every day is a stepping stone. It made me start looking at things from a different perspective. I may not have 100% of what I want, or what is needed, but I keep reminding myself that it is a learning experience that I'm having. So every day, like I always say, is that I am better than the Jane of 1 second ago because I am learning. I am constantly learning. So by doing that, I am helping nurture my mind. I am able to remind myself that I don't need to be perfect. So I am rubbing off that story and creating a new positive story that is going in my mindset. So no matter what I do, I have that in my hand. I have that knowledge that it doesn't matter the outcome. What matters is I took the first step. What matters is I believed in myself. What matters is I I made it. I tried. Because if you don't try something, how are we going to be able to know, or how will you know that that is the thing for you? So wait, for me, my experience is waiting to have all the qualifications, waiting to, to tick like it's like applying for job interview. You want to tick everything on the list of qualifications that they need, but sometimes they don't need all that because nobody can. In most cases, you don't have all those qualities that you're looking for, but if you have at least one or two, why not try and apply for that job? Why not try and, take the leap of faith and see what happens? Because if you don't do that, how are you going to learn? So that is one of my personal stories on how I was able to shift these negative stories into positive stories. And it has had a lot of impact in my life. The last 1 year has been remarkable because immediately I got my certification, which was August last year. I was super excited to share that I am a coach. If I had not shifted my narrative from before, I would have waited maybe to gain experience or maybe to become perfect in coaching so that I can share with the world that I am a coach. And then the other thing that I'd like to share with you today is the other thing that had been stopping me from living or fulfilling my potential was self-doubt. And self-doubt is closely related to the certificate, or having everything in one place ticked up. But self-doubt comes in when I start telling myself that I'm not good enough, or I am not ready. The best one was I am not ready. And when I say I am not ready, I stop myself from exploring. I stop myself from, being a go-getter. I stop myself from trying things out, because it's only through trial that we're going to know and understand ourselves better. So instead of telling myself I am not ready, the Jane of today is telling herself that I love experimenting things. I love trying new things. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I clap for myself for trying, and I don't dwell on that. I don't beat myself up. No, I move on by taking the lessons coming from that experience. So if you're watching me today, if there's anything or a key takeaway that I would like you to take is, remember that the story you tell yourself, as minute as it might be, like I'm not good enough, I am not ready, I am not lovable, all these things, these stories that you tell yourself, they tend to impact your mindset. And when you get opportunities, these small stories that you're telling yourself, they tend to impact how you're going to handle those opportunities. So if your story is I am not ready, what will happen when you get a good opportunity? Maybe you get a promotion at work with good salary. So you'll be like, I'm not ready. Maybe give it to XYZ. And who knows if this chance is going to come back to you again. So try and re-author those stories that you're telling yourself in the form of statements. I am not good enough. I'm not ready. Try and re-author those statements into positive, empowering statements. And one way you can do this is asking yourself, according to whom? When I say I'm not good enough, according to whom? Who said I'm not good enough? And if there's an answer to that, then you need to dig deeper and ask yourself, why am I not good enough? And the more you ask yourself this question, the more you come to the realization that, you know what? This has just been in my head, and I can be able to change this. I can be able to tune it and make it a positive story. So as I end today's session, try and find out what is that one story that you tell yourself. When you tell yourself this story, what is happening to you? Why do you tell yourself this story? Is this story true? And chances are the story is not true. So try and do all these, and I believe at the end of it, just like I was able to overcome that negative story that I had about myself, you can be able to overcome that negative story, and in the end you are going to impact your mindset positively. You're going to start realizing that every day you're waking up feeling jovial, ready to face challenges, ready to do things as they come. So that brings me to the end of my session today. We will be seeing you next week with our Q&A session. If you're not a member of Mindset Shift CEOs in Facebook, be sure to join us. It is a community that is growing every day of like-minded people who want to empower themselves, people who want to nurture each other and remind each other that we are the CEOs of our lives and we have the power to make those choices. Just like a CEO decides for an organization, you have the power to decide for your life. And it starts by those stories that you're telling yourself. What is that one thing that you're telling yourself? I cannot run a business. According to whom? Have you tried to start that business and it has failed? Who said that that's the end of everything? Everything is all about trying. Everything is all about learning. And at the end of the day, you become better and your mindset even becomes it's like going to the gym. When you make your mind exercise, it's like taking your mind to the gym, and it starts becoming even more productive for you. So re-other the stories you tell yourself, start speaking positive things to yourself. So every morning wake up and remind yourself that you're good enough, remind yourself that you're a go-getter. All these negative stories, turn them into positive stories, and with time you will start experiencing or realizing the changes happening in your life. Wishing everyone a fantastic day, evening, depending on where you are, and we'll be seeing you next week with a Q&A session. Bye-bye.